Susan's story. I was going to reply, but the phone rang. Alan was looking at me as the phone was ringing. Aren't you going to answer that? He said. Oh, yes, sorry. I answered the phone. Montgomery Estates. Can I help you? Yes, of course. At one moment, please. I handed the phone to Alan, who shook his head but took the phone. Alan talked to the client on the phone for a few minutes and then handed the phone back to me to put in the cradle. When I turned back, he was shaking his head and tut-tutting at me. I see we will also need to talk about what happens when you make mistakes. How did I tell you to answer the phone? You said I should say, Montgomery Estates, can I help you? And that's what I said. I said, no, he said as if he was talking to a child. I said, Montgomery Estates, how can I help you? You forgot the how. Oh, that. It's the same thing, isn't it? I said, but my tone gave me away. No, it isn't. And if it was the same thing, I wouldn't mention it, would I? And, my girl, if you take that turn with me, you will find out what happens to the naughty girls who make mistakes and never learn. I realized I had gone too far and looked down at my hands, clasped on my lap. I'm sorry, sir. I expect you will be Susan Elizabeth Mason, he said. What did your dad do when you were naughty? I held my breath. Here it is. What should I tell him? And I used that whole name, just like Gad did. Well? He was getting impatient. He would take down my pants and spank me, sir. There, I said it. I was the first to say the S word, and I shivered, just like last night.
Alan's story. I went on to tell her the responsibilities of the job and how I'll get things done. Then the phone rang, and she made a mistake with the greeting. That wasn't bad, but I could tell that her attitude of being reprimanded would need to improve. I like things done in a particular way. I don't expect people to get it immediately, but it's important that they're happy to learn. And when I asked her what her father would have done with a daughter who was naughty, I knew I was making a mistake. I'm not her father, and I fully expected her to tell me to mind my own business and storm out of the room, grabbing her handbag as she left the building. But she didn't. She was like a very naughty girl when she looked at her hands clasped on her lap and said he would have spanked her. And then, instead of calling me Alan, she called me Sir. At this point, I realized that the conversation had gone far too far down that slippery slope that leads to brief pleasure followed by disaster. So I put my hands on my knees as if I was going to get up and told Susan it was time for lunch.